The New York Rangers' young star Alexis Lafreniere and the New York Rangers might not be coming to an extension at some point this offseason, as it seems like Lafreniere wants to kind of hold off until next offseason where he could possibly sign a massive contract where he could end up having a big season once again this upcoming season in 2024-2025, as he took a massive step up from the previous season back in 2022-2023 up to this past season that just ended. So if he has another massive season in 2024-2025, he could be in for a massive payday, and that's what it seems like is going to happen, as we have a report here from Vince Mercogliano in his latest article. He said here, all indications are that the two sides will hold off on negotiations until next summer, according to a person with knowledge of the situation who spoke to LoHud.com, part of the USA Today network. So it seems like that Lafreniere and Rangers aren't going to be having an extension happen this offseason, but maybe next offseason where he'll sign a massive deal possibly, because obviously this is a player who is still very young. He still has a lot of room to grow and possibly get even better. And if he can have another kind of breakout season like he did this past one, but take another big step in his development and overall game and produce at a much higher level and possibly get some actual power play one time to really kind of up his overall production, he could be in for a huge payday and a much bigger one than would be able to sign this offseason. And it does make a lot of sense on why Lafreniere would want to wait until next offseason. Like I said, if he has a massive year, he could be in for a huge payday, but it does kind of suck for the Rangers because I was hoping that he'd be able to get kind of locked up long-term this offseason, and the Rangers could really kind of bank on him continuing his overall, production and getting better and stuff like that, but locking up long-term right now to obviously have a more of a team-friendly deal, whereas if he has a monster season next year, he could have a huge payday, which would be, great for him and good for him and all of that. I'd be happy for him. But for the Rangers side of things there with a salary cap, having a guy like Igor Shesterkin and K'Andre Miller, who are also going to need new contracts next offseason as well, or possibly an extension to happen this offseason. K'Andre Miller is going to the last year of his deal with a $3.872 million cap hit, and Igor Shesterkin, he'll be a UFA. K'Andre will be an RFA, but Igor's also going into the final year of his deal with a $5.666 million cap, but he'll be a UFA there. I think he'll get extended, but those are two fairly big players for the Rangers here who are also going to need new contracts at some point this offseason to be extended, or possibly next offseason before a guy like Igor could possibly hit unrestricted free agency. So there's three guys who are going to need new big paydays for next offseason, accounting obviously a couple of the guys who are kind of lower tier players, but in general these three players are going to need to get a possible pretty big pay raise, especially Lafreniere and Igor. So that's not going to look too great for the Rangers cap situations, which will definitely be getting pretty tight there to the cap as we move closer into obviously this upcoming season with some free agency stuff like that and trades possibly. But in general, next offseason as well, there are three big hitters who are going to need new contracts as well. And I have been a massive believer in Alexis Lafreniere for pretty much his entire NHL career so far. Watching him at the World Juniors in the QMJHL with Rimouski Oceanic, I have been a massive fan of Lafreniere. I always thought he could be a huge player for this Rangers team in the NHL, and he's clearly shown that this past season. I think going forward, we should expect him to only get better and better. He is still very young. He is nowhere near his ceiling, and I think has more room to grow and get better. I don't think he's ever going to be a, 110, 120 point kind of guy, maybe not even a 100-point player, but being around a point per game or a little over that, being a kind of a 90-point guy is definitely still a possibility for a guy like Lafreniere, especially if he's able to get some power play one time, which I definitely hope he can get. And he's only going to be 23 at the start of the next season as well. He turns 23 in October, so he's definitely very young, still get a whole lot better, and should be a big part of this team moving forward. And just quickly, if you could, please smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. It'd help out the channel a ton, and I really appreciate it. But carrying on here and taking a look at Alexis Lafreniere's contract, he's in the second year of a 2-year deal that he signed back in 2023, obviously last offseason in August there, and his cap hit per season was $2.325 million. So overall, I thought that was a very nice and team-friendly deal, and going forward, I think he's going to be a huge part of this team and hopefully can have another monster season this upcoming one, and probably is going to be en route for a massive payday. And I think Lafreniere was able to take that big step up in his overall game, not just because he was playing alongside guys like Panarin and Trocheck, which yes, they obviously helped. I mean, playing alongside, two star players, a superstar in Panarin and an absolutely phenomenal player in Vincent Trocheck. Yes, they're going to help his game develop, obviously, for a young guy, a young 22-year-old, but this is a player who I think really kind of upped his skating ability from the previous season. I think there definitely was a big improvement on that. I'm sure he worked on that quite a bit last offseason because that was kind of a known issue for him, going into the draft, honestly, as well back in 2020. That going into the draft there, obviously one kind of issue with his game was his skating ability. He clearly kind of got better there from last season to the next. And his overall skill level as well, we definitely saw that quite a bit. I think that got better. Same thing with his shot and passing as well. He looks like a much overall kind of smarter offensive player, felt more confident as well. And I'm sure a big reason for that was Peter Laviolette, the Rangers head coach, coming in his first year, but really kind of trusting in a guy like Lafreniere to be a true top 6 forward, get consistent time on a top 6 line there, getting quite a bit more, well, not an insane amount more ice time, but a decent little chunk of boost there in ice time, and just having that overall confidence from his head coach there to be a true top 6 forward, play alongside 2 star players in Panarin and Trocheck, and really just have that overall confidence to be a true star level player in the NHL. And they definitely showed that this past season. And now taking a look here at Lafreniere's stats from this past season, he ended up having 82 games played, 28 goals, 29 assists for 57 total points, which were all career highs. And his ice time only went up by about 2 minutes there, from 15 minutes and 13 seconds to 17 minutes and 16 seconds. So not a crazy difference there. The hits dropped by about half, but obviously when you're playing on a better line, they're having the puck more, you're not going to have to hit as much. But the big thing with him was his overall offensive production at 5-on-5 at even strength was absolutely phenomenal. He ended up finishing tied for 37th in the entire NHL for even strength points with 51. He was amazing in that sense there, tied with guys like Carter Verhaeghe, Roman Josi, 1 point above guys like Josh Morrissey, Tim Stützle, and 1 point back of guys like Trocheck, Marchessault, Konechny, Robertson, Brady Tkachuk there, and also breakout star himself, Wyatt Johnston. So in general there, Lafreniere had a phenomenal season, and a big reason for that was his overall offensive production at even strength there was just absolutely amazing. Now, that is a big thing with him, is he was top 40 in the entire NHL for even strength scoring, which is very, very good. And once again, the big thing with Lafreniere's overall playoff offensive production was the fact that he got most of it done at even strength. He ended up having 16 games played, 8 goals, 6 assists for 14 total points, and 11 of those 14 total points ended up coming at even strength, which was massive. All 8 of the goals and half of his assists, ended up coming at even strength as well. All 8 goals at even strength is pretty special there. He's a guy not getting a ton of power play time, but he was absolutely phenomenal in that sense there. And some of the goals that he ended up getting throughout this playoff run are clear indicators that Lafreniere was not just a player who was kind of riding off the coattails of guys like Trocheck and Panarin throughout this season. He was able to create his own scoring chances, his own goals, create some chances for other players as well, but do so himself. Not just because of what Panarin and Trocheck did. He had some phenomenal highlight reel goals that he created pretty much all by himself. Obviously, he's a team player there. There's other teammates on the ice and stuff like that, but some of the goals he scored were because of what he did in his spectacular plays. So I think that kind of shows you that he wasn't just riding off of what guys like Panarin and Trocheck did. He was a phenomenal player. He was a star caliber player himself while playing alongside some other stars. And the Panarin, Trocheck, and Lafreniere line was one of the best in all of hockey last season, as they ended up having the most goals for out of any line in all of hockey with 54 together. Just as a line together, they ended up scoring 54 goals, which was the most from any other line combination in all of hockey in the entire NHL. They were phenomenal together, and Lafreniere was a big reason in why guys like Trocheck and Panarin were also able to have some career highs themselves. But anyways, let me know in the comment section down below. Are you happy that obviously the contract extension is getting pushed off into next offseason instead of this one? Personally, I would have liked to see him get extended this offseason, try and lock him up long term, get a more team-friendly deal, because next offseason, if he has another phenomenal season in 2024, 2025, which I expect him to do, he's going to be in for a much bigger payday than if we locked him up long term this offseason. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think his contract could possibly look like? I'm guessing it's going to be a 7 or 8 year deal at a minimum of probably $7 million next year, depending on how he does, but it's going to be expensive. It's going to be a lot. Let me know your thoughts on Lafreniere, this line, his contract extension possibility for next offseason. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you have enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it a ton. And also don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.